Good afternoon, you are welcome to Cstv News at 24 on Cstv. My name is Dorcas Mensah. Cstv News at 24 is brought to you by Celeste with Tom Brown, Sarah's Dream Jewelries, Amsel Blog Machinery and Blog Manufacturing, NAP Apartment Hotel, and Crystal Jorek Pet Shop. Now coming up in our news bulletin for today, the Office of the Special Prosecutor dropped charges against two accused in NPA extortion case. Also, over 80% of inherited road project abandoned. Minority claims. Moving on to business story, government and free electricity for commercial operators at Bema Camp. On the international front also, 8 dead as terrorists bomb bridge in Niger. There's a many more stories will be coming your way in the afternoon news bulletin on CSTV. Please stay with us. Welcome back. For more news updates, you can follow us on our social media handles at CSTVGH. Now to our first story for tonight. An important development has happened at the Criminal Court 3 of the Accra High Court, as the Office of the Special Prosecutor has dropped all charges against two accused persons in the ongoing alleged extortion case linked to the former Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Mustafa Abdul Hamid. The 4th and 5th accused persons have now turned into prosecution witnesses after agreeing to testify for the state. According to the prosecution, the two, through their lawyers' approach the OSP and indicated their readiness to cooperate with investigators and provide evidence in court voluntarily. Presiding Judge Justice Francis acknowledged the prosecution's request, with court expected to determine how the testimony of the new witnesses will shape the ongoing trial. And moving on to other stories, President John Dramani Mahama is calling for a fundamental shift in how the history of slavery is understood, urging the global community to recognize it as a crime against humanity while restoring the dignity of those affected. Delivering remarks at a United Nations event on slavery at the United Nations headquarters, the president explained the power of language in shaping perspectives and influencing actions.
Begins with the power that words hold to shape consciousness and to shift perspectives to propel an action. I therefore offer this truth there's no such thing as a slave. Human beings who were trafficked and then enslaved by people who believed they could own those human beings as chattels, as their personal property. You'll hear this and think I'm splitting. Isn't that the same thing they might ask? Not at all the same thing. Not if you acknowledge an individual's humanity. Not if you respect an individual's basic rights. The entire transatlantic slave trade was designed to deny African people, and that denial was premised on a racial hierarchy with no basis in fact or science, a racial hierarchy that deemed whiteness superior and blackness inferior. That were committed against.
Delivering his remarks, President Mahama added that the atrocities committed during slavery and the injustice that followed were made possible because enslaved Africans were treated as objects rather than human beings.
Against enslaved Africa, the myriads of injustice that were born of forward success social framework took place specifically because those persons were considered objects, not human. So when discussing slavery and its resulting institutions and practices, we must always start by reclaiming racial equality, the dignity of Africans, the humanity of our ancestors who were enslaved, and as a matter of course, our own humanity.
Now let's move on to the Ashanti region. Health authorities in the Ashanti region, in order to tackle maternal mortality, has launched a new clinical mentorship program. This is to improve healthcare delivery for mothers and newborn babies. The Ashanti Regional Health Director, Dr. Fred Adumako Boaten, says the clinical mentorship program is the way to go on in addressing the current challenges in the region.
The country, we are looking at 120 maternal deaths per 100,000 lives. In Ashanti region, the year under review, we had 175 maternal deaths per 100,000 live births. What are the causes of? At this point, I will want to thank UNICEF has helped Ashanti region enormously to really look at all these deaths. What we have seen is that when we look at this figure that we talk about, the case is not only for Ashanti region. The surest intervention and looking at the literature is what we call the clinical mentorship program. And the clinical mentorship program is looking at why they are referring can be addressed at that level.
So while addressing journalists at the gathering, the Ashanti Regional Health Director, Dr. Fred Boaten, stated.
Validated by these society and groups that we are talking about. Not only that, we have done implementation guidelines for this. We have even developed a curriculum that will train mentors, clinical mentors, to go and do clinical mentorship.
Now away from the Ashanti region to the Minority Caucus in Parliament. The Minority Caucus in Parliament has raised issues over what is described as the widespread abandonment of over 80% of inherited road projects. Addressing a press conference, the ranking member on the Roads and Transport Committee, Kenneth Nyakun Osei, says many contractors have left project sites across the country.
Resources into new road projects such as the Big Push would have significant government prioritize the continuation and completion of this existing project rather than redirecting resources into new road projects such as the Big Push would have significantly improved connectivity nationwide and maximize returns on already committed public investment. Instead, the apparent shift towards new projects influenced by partisan considerations and pork barrel politics has left many critical works unattended. This includes projects that had already reached advanced stages, such as those with first coat surfacing, completed and requiring only final layers upon the release.
Mr. Nyakun also added that minority is also concerned about the management of the Ghana Road Maintenance Trust Fund.
Minority is also concerned about the management of the Ghana Road Maintenance Trust Fund, as the situation in the ground reflects deepening financial crisis that requires urgent attention. Current estimates indicate that the road sector is burdened with arrears and outstanding payable of approximately 20 billion under the road fund. The release of only 1 billion out of the 5.8 billion allocated for 2025-2026 is clearly inadequate to address the scale of obligations within the sector.
And now let's move on to other stories. The Deputy Director General in charge of operations at the National Service Authority, Fuseini Donko, speaking about the SIM card registration, says they are not starting all over again, but just want to sanitize the system.
This time around, we are not starting all over again. the minister said, and I heard him correctly, is that, listen, we just want to sanitize the system. So this Ghana card belongs to me. At the comfort of your home, you'll be given prompts to follow. So just be able to input your Ghana card at the comfort of your home. Show clearly that now NIA and NCA are working together. So we can verify that this particular number belongs to just Donko Husseini. Even if your daughter is not of age, at least that particular one is different.
You are still live on Cstv News at 24 on Cstv. The news continues after the commercial break. Stay tuned.
Limited. So we per blocks machines here air papa. None bonso assign edda former dia. Enye na enwani Ansel Company Limited. Your conveyor blocks machines, hydraulic blocks machines, pallets, any blocks machines in one accessories in na. And nothing so blocks machines are who draw opening in a bin so ewo ho. To show your chakwan ene ya. Ye was Spinters Road 18 Junction. Yani KFC Dino and a edin she nimu. Freye, it was 05,240 and I say 0540-725850. Ansel, blocks machines papa pa efie.
Welcome back from the commercial break. You're still live on Cstv News at 24 on Cstv. For more news updates, you can follow us on our social media handles at CSTVGH. Now, let's move on to business stories. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Mr. Eric Opoku, has responded to the ultimatum issued by the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, defending the ministry's efforts to address the ongoing tomato supply crisis. Speaking in an interview, Mr. Opoku criticized the sector's stance, suggesting the association may not be fully informed about developments in the sector.
Kasa, he's not following developments in the sector. He wouldn't have made that statement. He wouldn't have jumped into that conclusion. Because we have laid a solid foundation to address the challenge. Now, if you want to provide boreholes across the country, in all the production centers, to produce the quantities that we want to produce, how many months would it take us to finish with that? Even if you are going through the procurement processes alone. That is why I'm saying that if you get the opportunity to speak to Ghanaians, let us be fatwa and anchor our discussions on things that people understand. We have to be objective. Oh, and then I was saying this. So, my contract.